Yo, what is going on, guys? TymeStopper here, coming back at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the attempted stealth nerf to Geomancer that Plarium tried to cover up and was only found out because a massive clan boss bug was introduced into the game. Clearly, they didn't want anyone to know about this. That's why it wasn't in any of the notes that came out prior to the patch. They've come out with several communications on the forums, in their Discord, all over the place about all kinds of stuff with this update, and at no point did they ever mention a change to Geomancer. Why do you think that is? Because he was actually in a 10x, unlike Uragrim that we talked about yesterday. So let's jump into the video. Okay, guys, just a quick update here. If you guys haven't been paying attention in-game, there is some major stuff going on. Of course, this morning, if you go over to the forums, you can see that Raid put out an update this morning, one of many, and in their announcements in their Discord, you can go ahead and see that they tried to reload the servers and everything like that here this morning. It said came from Oracle, clearly says, greetings, we're about to reload the server in about 30 minutes and anticipated downtime of up to 40 minutes. This technical maintenance is necessary in order to bring the life of the game 4.70, so please plan your actions accordingly. And they're right, they did bring to life 4.70 with some good things and some not so good things. So of course 4.70 did bring with it all of the balance changes that were talked about on the forums and things like that. It even brought us, of course, the extra spots. You can see here, I have 705 of 1,300 artifacts, and we also got 1,300 spaces in our accessory slots as well. But in this patch, they tried to cover up something for sure. Now, some people accused me in yesterday's video of being a shill for Plarium and trying to, help them cover things up. Well, I'm here to tell you that's just not the case. I'm a straight shooter, regardless. I'm going to tell you how I see it, whether you like it or not. That's always been my MO. So let's talk about what they tried to do today and how they're trying to smooth it over with the community. So first off, if you haven't been in the game today, you probably haven't noticed that the clan boss is getting massive amounts of damage done to him by Geomancer. Of course, there are screenshots all over the Discord with the different bugs and things like that. But here's a screenshot from someone that I took from over there showing Geomancer doing massive amounts of damage. You can see that this individual has up to 2 billion damage on the clan boss already. How is that even possible, you ask? Well, let's take a look at something else. Over here, you've got this picture right here. Let me see if I can make that a little bigger for you. You can see massive amounts of damage. 3 minutes in, 700 million damage, most of it being done by Geomancer. How is that happening, you ask? Well, apparently they tried to make some adjustments to Geomancer, some small adjustments to Geomancer to fix the game, they say. Well, they weren't any kind of patch notes, and the only reason anyone noticed it is because they broke him by accident. And then, of course, as everybody's in an uproar over on the Discord and things like that, they're over there trying to calm everybody down, trying to tell them it's okay, tell them it's not a big deal. How do I know they're trying to tell them it's not a big deal? Well, no one made any mention of this until everybody in the community started talking about it. And I have some screenshots here of a chat that I'm going to go ahead and share here. And you can see that this Brat Cat individual over talking about what did and what did not happen. And you can see he says, Geo was not nerfed. A small adjustment to his passive was made. He will still work fine in Clan Boss. When people continued to press this individual, he said his passive before was causing game stability issues. And of course, the third one says his passive as it was before was causing the game to crash. Now, For you guys that may not know who this individual is, he's obviously someone that works very closely with Plarium. Here's a screenshot of his information. You can see that he is a moderator, does ban appeals, mods Facebook, mod team, in-game chat mod. So obviously he knew about this ahead of time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to comment on it quite so quickly. Now, what exactly are we talking about? Like, what happened? What went wrong? What are they trying to do? Well, great question. First off, let's get a little bit of background on Geomancer, right? So over here, we can see from the Plarium forums that Geomancer was added on May 5th, 2021, right? So this is the original information for Geomancer, and most of the issue comes from his passive, and that's what they say that they adjusted, right? So it says here that his passive is supposed to decrease the damage all allies receive by 15% and deflects that damage onto each enemy under HP burn debuff placed by this champion. Whenever this champion is attacked, deflects 30% of the damage instead. So, ever since this champion has come out, basically he has specifically in Clan Boss, where everybody uses him, he deflects 30% of the damage done to him, which can proc Giant Slayer, which is, of course, doing additional damage to the Clan Boss. Now, it was asked multiple times, is this intended? Is this something that's supposed to happen? Because we know that when Brogni first came out, he had some of the similar mechanics going on, and they fixed those, but told us that no, the Geomancer stuff was intended. Well, here's where the bad faith comes in, right? So yesterday we talked a little bit about how there was never a 10x for Uragrim. Well, there was definitely a 10x for this guy, because you can take a look over here on yumielove.net, and you can see that on July 27th, there was an event for Geomancer where he was guaranteed by pulling 40 ancient shards. So not a ton of shards, but definitely something that was supposed to have been done. Why does that matter? Well, now you definitely have people who have invested money into Geomancer to go and get him, maybe bought shards that they didn't originally have, and they nerfed the champion. Now, they're saying it's not a nerf, right? So if we go look in-game at Geomancer right now, we'll go over to the index, and we're going to compare what he says now to then, and we're going to talk about their official statement as well, okay? There we go. So we're going to squeeze both of these on the screen at the same time for you to take a look at. This is from the forum for when it originally came out. This is what it now says in-game. So decreases damage all allies receive by 15%, deflects that damage onto each enemy under HP burn debuff placed by this champion. Whenever this champion is attacked, deflects 30% of the damage instead. Well, that looks the same. But what is this extra stuff down here now? Because this clearly wasn't in his skill set before. So it now says, when deflecting damage has a 60% chance of dealing additional damage equal to 4% of the target's max HP, can occur once per enemy attack. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. Now, why is that important? Well, because up until patch 4.70, whenever Giant Slayer procced for him, it was deflecting damage off of all of your champions. So he had a 60% chance of dealing additional damage off of each champion. So if you have 5 champions, there was a 60% chance that each one of those would deflect damage back onto the clan boss, making it a much stronger skill. Now, it clearly says it can only occur once per enemy attack. Now, that to me seems like a nerf. Now, of course, they're saying, no, that's definitely not a nerf. What does that look like to them? Well, let's cover their official response. Raiders, we'd like to shed some light on the recent changes with the Geomancer's passive Stone Guard. Geomancer has been neither buffed nor nerfed in version 4.70. We fixed some issues that occurred with certain passive skills that caused the game to freeze, lock up, and crash. These issues affected the Geomancer Stone Guard passive skill are now fixed by this change, so the damage from his passive no longer triggers certain masteries, War Master and Giant Slayer. Instead, that damage will now ignore the target's defense. Please note that this ignore defense is not specified in the skill description in the game, but we will fix it. Also, to compensate for this damage, we've updated the passive skill to deal additional damage that scales up based on the enemy's maxed HP to keep his power level and make sure that Geomancer is as effective as he was before the current rebalance. Now, I don't know about you, but as I read over this, this sounds like a cover-up, truthfully. Now, I'm sure Oracle is a fine individual, so no hate going his way. He just works for the company, and unfortunately, he's the poor guy that gets stuck trying to explain this. But first off, if they were making this change, why was it not in any notes? They have had multiple opportunities to put it in any kind of notes they had and decided not to. Even if it was a just bug fix, they should have said, hey, by the way, we're updating this information. Why didn't they say we're going to update this information? Well, my guess would be because they knew that after they went through all of the stuff with Uragrim, they dare not mention this because he really was a guaranteed champion, meaning people really did spend money to get this guy. Now, also, of course, I can't test him right now because they completely broke him and he's doing billions of damage right now. But to be honest with you, this sounds like a nerf. Because the reality is that even though it's going to ignore target's defense, the clan boss doesn't have a ton of defense to begin with. He never did. So I don't know that that's really going to help him a whole lot. Now, it says that they've updated the passive skill to deal additional damage that scales up based on enemy max HP, but that was already happening from his Giant Slayer. So while they can say that they adjusted it, I don't know that that's an adjustment because that was always happening all along. So to me, it just sounds like they took away the reflect damage that was happening from the other champions and called that ignore target defense. Now, I'm sure time will tell. There are much smarter people in the community than me by far when it comes to how to build a clan boss team and what's going to work best and things like that. And maybe they find a way to still make this work. But I got to be honest, this feels like a nerf. But at the end of the day, I don't even care that they nerfed him. It doesn't matter to me. What matters to me most is the fact that they clearly tried to not disclose it. And the truth is that the community already doesn't feel that Plarium has their best interests at heart. They already feel like it's them against Plarium all the time. That's all you hear. This was an opportunity for them to get out in front of this and say, hey, listen, we know that we're going to make a change to him. It's probably not going to be super popular. Here's why we need to do it. There's some issues with the game. We're trying to fix those, et cetera, et cetera. Would the community have been a little upset? Yes, absolutely. Would they have been as upset as they're going to be now? No way. Because the reality is the only reason we even found this today was because they accidentally didn't cap his damage and he was doing billions of damage to the clan boss, like an absurd amount. So at the end of the day, I can't defend Plarium at all on this. They definitely should have disclosed this. There's no reason for them not to. I got to be honest, I don't really know what they were thinking when they decided to do this and when they decided not to tell anybody about it. Personally, I haven't invested in Geomancer because I was using another clan boss team, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that have invested plenty of time and resources into Geomancer. He was an awesome champion for low spenders, free-to-play players, especially when you put him in an event where you only have to pull 40 ancient shards to get him. It's pretty easy to gather 40 ancient shards without paying any money in the game. Now these people went and spent all kinds of resources. It goes back to my thoughts yesterday. Give us an option to reset the champion. If that's the case, if you're going to make a change, give us an option to reset them. But guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Is this going to make a huge difference in his damage? Again, I haven't tested him yet because they already broke him, but let me know if you guys are able to test him. What have you guys found? What are some solutions to this? Can we work around it? It seems like it's another strike for Plarium in my book. But guys, if you made it this far into the video, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video, and of course, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, until next time, be good.